My name is Daniel, and for as long as I can remember, my life has been simple. I've always been content with a quiet life and a simple job. My younger sister, Olivia, on the other hand, always wanted more. She wanted a perfect life, a perfect wedding, a perfect everything. And she got it. The family made sure of that. But what she didn't know was that her perfect wedding was about to be ruined by my surprise guest. If you're watching this, drop a comment below and let me know where you're from. And if you have ever felt like you were invisible to your own family, please like and subscribe. You won't want to miss what happens next. My sister, Olivia, was getting married. It was a beautiful day, a day she had been planning for her entire life. Our parents were so proud of her. They were everywhere, talking to the guests, smiling for the cameras. They were so busy celebrating Olivia's perfect day that they didn't even notice me. The wedding cost a fortune. I had asked my parents how they were going to pay for all of this, and they just laughed. "Daniel," my dad said, "don't worry about it. We have it all under control. Olivia's wedding is a priority." I felt a sharp pain in my heart, a pain that was familiar. My parents had always chosen Olivia over me. And now, on the most important day of my sister's life, they had chosen her again. The pain was not about the money, it was about the betrayal. They had made it clear that I was not a priority. I was just a ghost in my own family. But they had no idea that I had a secret that I had kept from them for years. I had been working as a photographer, and I had a successful career. I had worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, and my work had been featured in some of the most prestigious magazines. But my family had no idea. They just thought I was a freelancer, a small-time photographer. They never took me seriously. The wedding photographer, a man named Adam, was a friend of mine. He was a good photographer, but he wasn't as successful as me. He was in on my secret. He knew that I was a successful photographer, and he knew that I had a plan. We had a plan to get my revenge. A plan to get my family's attention. A plan that was about to be executed in the most unexpected way. The wedding was in full swing, and everyone was getting ready for the toast. My sister and the groom were standing on the stage, a bottle of champagne in their hands. Everyone was looking at them, a big smile on their faces. But I wasn't looking at them. I was looking at Adam, the photographer. He gave me a nod. He was ready. I was ready. What will happen when the photographer makes his announcement? And how will my family react when they find out the truth? The music stopped, and a hush fell over the room. My sister and her husband were smiling, champagne glasses in hand, ready for their first toast. Everyone was looking at them, a big smile on their face. But I wasn't looking at them. I was looking at the wedding photographer, Adam. He gave me a small nod, and then he raised his voice. He was ready. I was ready. "Hello, everyone," Adam said, his voice cutting through the silence. "Before the toast, I have a small surprise for the bride and groom. And for all of you." The room was quiet. Everyone looked at him, confused. My sister and her husband were smiling, but they were also a little nervous. Adam continued, "I want to introduce the real wedding photographer. The man who has been taking all the photos today. He's a friend of mine, and he's also a famous photographer. His work has been featured in some of the most prestigious magazines, and he's one of the best in the business. And I want to introduce you to Daniel." The entire room turned to look at me. Everyone was in shock. My sister's smile disappeared, and my parents' faces went pale. They couldn't believe it. They had been ignoring me all day, and now my name was being announced. I stood up, and I looked at my family. The silence was deafening. I was no longer a ghost, I was a man with a name. A man who had a reputation. A man who had a career. My family, who had been so focused on Olivia's perfect day, had no idea that they had been ignoring a successful person. I walked to the front of the room, and I looked at my sister. Her eyes were filled with tears, but they weren't tears of happiness. They were tears of shame. She had been so focused on her perfect day that she had ignored her own brother. I just wanted to make sure that the best pictures were taken, I said, my voice full of a cold, quiet anger. I just wanted to make sure that your perfect day was a day you would never forget. My parents were in complete shock. My mom tried to talk to me, but I just shook my head. You didn't see me all day, Mom, I said. You were too busy with the caterer. You were too busy with the groom's parents. You didn't see me. In that moment, their victory turned into a loss. They had everything they wanted, but they had nothing. They were trapped in their own shame, and they had no one to blame but themselves. I looked at my family and said, "You chose to ignore me today. You chose to make me feel like I was nothing. And you lost. You lost the chance to celebrate with me." I turned to Adam and gave him a hug. I had my revenge, and it was a sweet, satisfying revenge. I had proven them wrong, not just with my success, but with my integrity. What will happen when I leave the wedding? And how will my family react when they find out the truth? The room was in chaos. My sister, Olivia, was crying, and my parents were in shock. They couldn't believe it. They had been so focused on her perfect day that they had ignored me, and now, my name was being announced. I was no longer the ghost in the room. I was a man with a name. A man who had a reputation. A man who had a career. And my family, who had been so focused on Olivia's perfect day, had no idea that they had been ignoring a successful person. My parents and my sister tried to talk to me after the announcement. They were all so proud of me. "Daniel," my mom said, "we always knew you would be successful. We always believed in you." But their words felt hollow. They had been so busy with Olivia's wedding that they didn't even notice me. I looked at my sister, and I wasn't angry. I was just sad. "You were so focused on your perfect day," I said, "that you didn't even see me. I was there, Olivia. I was there, but you didn't see me." My parents tried to hug me, but I just shook my head. "You told me I was invisible," I said. "You told me that my life was a waste of time. You told me that I was nothing. And you lost. You lost the chance to celebrate with me." In that moment, their victory turned into a loss. They had everything they wanted, but they had nothing. They were trapped in their own shame, and they had no one to blame but themselves. I left the wedding and never looked back. I had my revenge, and it was a sweet, satisfying revenge. I had proven them wrong, not just with my success, but with my integrity. I had shown them that my worth wasn't in their approval, it was in my own self-respect. I had found my vindication, not just in my business, but in my life. I had learned that my family wasn't about blood, it was about who was there for me when I needed them the most. And in the end, that was me. So, that's my story. It's a reminder that true wealth is not in your bank account, it's in your character. And sometimes, the best revenge is to walk away from the people who failed to see your true worth. Have you ever had to choose between your blood family and your chosen family? What did you learn? Share your stories in the comments below. And if this story resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to hear more real-life lessons. Thank you for listening.